Hi, my beautiful yogis. Rebecca here, and namaste. So this practice is for you if you have a tight back and you want to stretch it out. Obviously, if you have anything going on with your back and you have really deep pain, please go to a doctor and have it checked out professionally. But if your back is tight, you want to stretch it out, and this happens a lot from standing, from sitting sometimes, we really need to stretch out our back. So we're going to do a little light flow, stretch out our back. It won't take too much time, so let's hit the mat. Start out on your back. And just bring your feet about, hips width. And you can rest your knees against one another. Start to take some nice deep breaths. Sometimes when our back's tight or it's aching a little bit, we hold our breath, and that's the last thing we should be doing. We should be breathing into that achiness and filling it with some space. Just let yourself ground here. And any intention you'd like to bring in, go ahead. Good. And now we're going to take a nice full breath in through our nose. Now on the exhale, you're going to draw your spine down to the mat and press the low back sacrum area into the mat on the exhale. And then inhale, you just release it and breathe naturally in. And then exhaling through the nose, just press the low back into the mat. So you can see that I can't even slide my hands underneath my back on that exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And the pelvis is rolling up and under. Inhaling, release. Exhaling, pelvis tilts. Good, 2 more. Inhale. And exhale, pelvis tilts. Good. This time we're going to take our knees apart from one another. Take a full breath in and a slow breath out. This time on the inhale, you're going to press into your feet and lift your hips to the sky for bridge. And stay for the breath out. Dog incoming. Breath in. Hello. And breath out. Nothing too intense, just a lift of the hips in. Good, and out. Good, take one right knee into the midline. Keep the left knee bent and the foot on the floor. Take a few breaths here. Notice what happens when you tuck your chin. So it's all connected. And a little movement side to side feels good to me. And then I'm going to take that down and take the other one in. Now if you have any issues with your knees, just take behind your hamstrings, pull it in. Take a few breaths. Relax the shoulders down. Breathe into your sacrum, into the low back. Good, release that. Let's take both knees in. And then straighten out our elbows, and bend them in, and straighten, and bend them in, and straighten. And then we're going to do a little bit of palm circles on the sky, so little circles with our knees in one direction, and then the other, so a little sacral movement there. And then draw the knees into the chest. Now if you can, just lift up your head and your neck. Tuck your chin a lot, wrap your arms around your knees. Give yourself a few breaths. Again, the tucking of the chin is really important because that will take your stretch all the way down to the sacrum. Good, and release. So go ahead and roll over and come up into all fours. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. A few cat-cows, but we're gonna start gentle, right? So we're gonna do calves and kitties. So inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Try to look forward and down. So take your gaze away from the video. Just try to follow my prompts, exhaling a little mad cat. And start to grow these on your own, according to what feels good in your body. Cats and cows have a beautiful way of accessing the spine, which is why we do them in almost every yoga practice to warm up. But as you lift your gaze, you're going to notice that that stretch in your cow pose comes a little bit more. Yeah. And then exhaling two as you look towards your sternum. Up and back. Good, so find neutral spine, and then we're gonna take a puppy dog stretch, Anahatasana. So take your hands forward, keep those hips high, and now just lift the hips and melt the forehead. Keep the hips high as if you would do in down dog, like you've got that light saber between your thighs and you're shining it on the sky. Pressing into the meaty part of the palms and opening up the armpit bandha. I like to shift and alternate left and right. And find some stillness. And then if you want to dedicate your practice to anyone, this is a nice time. Good, so we're going to take our hands back about a foot. Take an inhale, and on our exhale, tuck our toes, downward facing dog. And just alternate your feet, left and right, left and right. And now you're in the same kind of dynamics as puppy dog stretch, except for we're on our hands and our feet. Press forward and down, and then walk your feet to your hands. So whenever you have a tight back, this is always a great stretch. I soften my knees generously, I let my head hang. Sometimes I hang onto opposite elbows. And I just let the gravity do its magic here. So you can rock forward onto your toes and back. Finding your just right. Softening your knees as much or as little as you need to. Really letting yourself spend some time here. Deep breaths in and out through your nose. Sending that breath all the way into the back body. And then releasing your arms. We're going to roll up because our head's been lower than our heart for a while. Just going to roll up one vertebra at a time. Yeah, and then we're going to find our mountain pose. So palms are forward, toes touch, heels apart, thighs are back in space, shoulders away from the ears. Then we'll inhale, rise up, gaze up. Then exhale, we're going to soften our knees and exhale, swan dive forward. Then inhale to a flat back. And exhale, fold. So you will be bending your knees as much or as little according to how it feels in your back. Then we'll inhale, neutral rise. I'm going to lift up out of my rib cage and I'm going to give myself a little back bend. And then exhale, hands to heart. Good, twice more. Inhale, rise up, gaze up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Tucking the chin at the bottom. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Hands to heart, Namaste, heat equals standing. One more. Inhale, rise up, gaze up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. And exhale, the hands to the heart. Good. So, pick your hands to your hips. Draw your right knee in. Find a little balance here. So just balancing on one foot. Draw the navel to the spine. Draw the tailbone down. And then soften that left knee a lot and start to come into your warrior three. So kicking that right leg back, keeping the right hip dialed down. Maybe here you can release your hands from your hips, dialing that right hip down, shoulders square to the earth. Maybe at best, torso is square to the earth as well. Parallel here. And then drop that right foot back and inhale your arms up to warrior one. Then exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten, and heel toe your back foot out, warrior two. Hips and shoulders open to the side. Yep. Inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. And inhale, peaceful warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. One more, inhale. And exhale, cartwheel down. Step back to plank. Take your knees down and then take your chest all the way down between your hands. Inhale for 3 cobras. Again, mindful of your back, coming up very gently. And 2. And 1 more, lift. Lower down, come through all fours. And downward facing dog. And then walking your feet again to your hands. Softening the knees a lot if you like. Ragdoll, hold for a breath. And an exhale. And roll up. Good, shrugging your shoulders up and back. And getting that on the other side. So our hands to hips, left knee in. Nice and strong here, so nice straight spine. Flexing my left foot, balancing into my right foot. And then I'm gonna soften my right knee and start to come forward into my balancing pose. Kicking through my left heel. Torso and shoulders are square to the mat, and then I release my hips for warrior three. I also like to pull away from my shoulders with my fingertips, creating more space, stepping back, and inhaling up to warrior one. Exhaling, straightening my front leg, and bending, inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale. And exhale, warrior two. Heel toe of my back foot. I'm heel to heel aligned. My back fingers are in line with my front, and I'm in my warrior two. Inhale, peaceful. Exhale, extended side. Inhale, peaceful. Exhale, extended side. Inhale, peaceful. And take a vinyasa. This time I am going to step back to plank and take a chaturanga. So you do what feels good to you. And we'll come to child's pose. Child's pose is one of the best stretches I know for my back. Knees wide, toes touch, rest your forehead. Just start to breathe into your sacrum. So I'm going to teach you how to do rabbit, because rabbit is one of the best back stretches I know. You take your knees together, reach for your heels, okay? And then you're going to take your forehead down, lift your hips, pull your heels, and roll onto the crown of your head. So you have access to pull your heels, which has the ability to stretch apart your scapula and also to stretch your low back. So draw the navel to the spine, tuck your chin a lot, lift your hips, and then walk your knees to your forehead, maybe even making contact. Straightening the elbows, pulling on your heels. And then lowering down. Yeah. Good. Let's come onto our backs. Rolling down. That was a pretty intense stretch, so let's just hang out in neutral here. Good, and then I'm going to just take my knees, not squeeze them in so much, but sort of straighten out my elbows. Just sort of press my knees into my hands here. And then release. And then squeeze them as much as feels good to you. Good, arms out to the side, a little sacral rock from right to left. I'm going to take a really gentle supine twist, so instead of pulling my knees all the way into my chest, I'm going to keep them a little bit away from my chest here. Maybe even take my feet down to the mat. We're going to take a deep breath in and exhale the knees over to the left. And even though my knees are coming into the left, my right shoulder is on the mat. Few breaths. Sending that breath into the right twist in your body. And then inhale your gaze to neutral, knees to neutral. Give them a little back and forth. Deep breath in. And exhale over to the right. Keep that left shoulder down, chin to the left. Breathe. One more breath. And come back to neutral. Take your knees back up to center. Give them a little hug. If it feels good, you can grab your feet for a happy baby. Keep your neck long. Pull your feet down as if you're standing on the ceiling. And maybe a little rock. Maybe some alternating leg extensions if it's in your body now. But I find that this action here really helps to stretch out my low back, pulling it down to the mat. And then taking the feet together and stretching long. Again, if there's any achiness in your low back and you want to keep your knees bent, go ahead. Otherwise, reach over your head, toes long, deep breath in. And exhale. Let go. Let this be enough. Let yourself find some time to just be. Releasing the doing and the effort and the need to be productive. Just be. And let go. Letting the sounds around you be part of your Savasana. With every exhale, feeling yourself be supported by the earth. Knowing that you can let go completely and you will still remain supported. Go ahead and start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Move your head from side to side. Give yourself a good morning stretch. Deep breath in. Arms behind you, toes in front. Exhale through your mouth. Go. You draw your knees and roll over to one side. Rest your cheek on your bicep with a pillow. And leave what no longer serves you behind you on your mat. Good. Press into a comfortable seat. I'll come to you. Throughout the day today, I want you to be conscious of your posture, okay? So stand on all four corners of both feet and try to keep a mountain pose in your posture, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, okay? So if we stack bone on top of bone, we're more supported and less likely to have an ache in our back. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Have a beautiful day and namaste.